Welcome, friends. Let us together rebuild this world so that we may live, laugh, and lore.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
Oh, that took.
Program loaded and ready.
Make it so.
Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Lore podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Tony. And actually, we don't have Mark with us, but we got two people. We got Paul and Joe.
Good to be here.
Veterans of the pod. Do you have anything to say, Paul? Sorry. Interrupted you there.
Oh, no, I said good to be here. Yep.
Good to be here,
Loving
yeah.
it.
Just a shame that we're going to be pretty much chasing Ben's tail for eternity, it seems. He's always going to be one ahead of us in the guest count.
Oh, and the guest count, yeah. Well, yeah, Anime Corner might take it up. But yeah, actually, that's what we're talking about today. This is the official first episode of Anime Corner. The thought process behind this was just more or less, we had that One Piece episode with you guys way back when. Still one of our most viewed. I think Paul might be skewing those numbers a bit. But still, regardless, most viewed, and that's so fantastic. It's a lot of fun. And honestly, I listened to My Dear Officer when I was in 7th grade. I shouldn't, no to drugs, no to peer pressure. But there's something about video games and anime, and both of you somehow have the biggest, grip on my heart of peer pressure, because your guys dude, play Elden Ring. You also were play Elden Ring.
It was
I
great.
played Elden Ring. Then all of a sudden we had the One Piece. I'm like, I will never touch this. It's too long. I don't have the time. Then the One Piece episode comes out. I did a little bit of research, and I'm like, this is pretty interesting.
It's a drug, man. It's a drug all of its own.
I don't know if I could do it. And then all of a sudden, when that episode fully released and we had it, it was so much fun talking about it. But also, I really like to commend you guys, because seriously, that episode, now that I've officially started watching One Piece, and I'm 248 episodes in, I can legitimately say that episode that you guys did perfectly encompassed, introducing the worlds without exposing so much of spoilers or anything like that. There's some things you could argue you said Logia versus Zoan versus whatever, but the way they peppered it in, it wasn't like it was a big deal either. It was like a one-off side comment from somebody oh, that's a Zoan fruit, and you're like, I thought this would be a way bigger thing. You know what I mean? They just kind of mentioned it was just a Zoan fruit. So the fact that kind of had you guys preface everything and build up that was a lot of, just wanted to commend you guys. That was a good, well thought out episode. So
Yeah, that's it's interesting. It's kind of one of the things that One Piece does really well, in that when they introduce something new, something that the viewer's never seen, they don't. Some animes or other types of shows, they'll stop and they'll do a full narrative explanation on exactly what you're seeing, what the system is, how it works. And what One Piece does is somebody might make a side comment, like you said, or you just kind of figure it out as you go, and then maybe later on down the line, you'll find somebody that's very knowledgeable, and they'll kind of give the description. And then what that does is the audience themselves, they kind of go back in their own mind of what they've seen and kind of make those connections of oh, that's what I saw, or that's why this did that. So they kind of learn for themselves, and I think that's a really fun and interesting way to do it.
yeah. And honestly, now that you think about it, the only two times you have that exposition is one during freaking Alabasta, when there's so many episodes in that arc where the narrator, which is Egram, what's the security guy? He goes,
It's like Egram or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't too long, but yeah.
But a side comment, so Peter, we're working on his consonants, we read to him and stuff like that. And, man, Jenna's really trying for that mama first off. But it was funny because she kept going ma, ma, like that. And I just did the Egram ma, 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 always in the background, just because I don't know, it got stuck in my head. Now Peter does the ma, ma, ma. And I'm like, Peter, tighten it up. You're right there. You basically said mama, And then, of course, it's not exactly like that. He kind of elongates stuff. But he really is trying for that M, no joke. No, but what I was going to say is, Egram, he's just oh, by the way, here's what's happening. Just in case, if you're kind of lost in the sauce. Yeah, he's oh, Vivi's doing this. The Rebel Alliance is doing this. So there was some, exposition, but it's 2 minutes before the episodes even start, so you can skip it. And the only other time was actually when Nami uses her, the staff, the 3-piece staff that Usopp makes for her.
Yep.
There's one time where she's battling someone, and she's finding it, what is it called?
Climate attack.
Okay.
Right.
She's figuring out real time, and that's when she explains it, though. She's oh no, if I do a hot pressure with, or if I do hot temperature with a cold temperature, that's increasing the pressure. So like she kind of explains it out a little bit, but it's not like it's mid-battle.
It's more in like internal dialogue, and I think that was like really good choice to do it in that sense because
Agreed.
The way that Nami fights and Usopp fights is they're very resourceful and they don't have great strength like some of the others like Zoro or Luffy or Sanji. They have really just their minds and whatever they have available. So them kind of working it out, you kind of see, they do bring a lot to the table in terms of fighting as well, just because they're able to turn something that other people might not see into a weapon or use it more effectively than what you might initially be predisposed to.
Yeah. Control the battlefield, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
what
like
she's doing.
98% of what they do. So, no, that's huge. So, sorry, just wanted to take that quick sidebar and be like, dude, you guys did a great episode. I do have to give it to you. That was a fantastic episode. And I also want to just talk about, before we kind of talk One Piece truly, I do want to talk about the form in which we took, right? So, way back when, it's actually, I just looked it up, first message was April 5th. And I mentioned this in a previous podcast, but I do want to reiterate, there's something truly about like, it's not like a watch party, so to speak, but like you guys have watched it. I started this group chat, and I have my perspective. I want to hear your guys' perspective, but I love it because I watch an episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this happened or that happened. We're talking about the acrobat Kabaji, like the first episode, he fights Zoro on a unicycle, and I'm like, dude, this is
it's cool.
Yeah. This is it. You know what I mean? And so it's so much fun because it's in a weird way. It's like I'm living that in the moment, going, "Wow, this is crazy." I talk to you guys, but like, once you guys receive a text like that, what's your thought? Like, is that like, are you reliving that experience all over again,
100%.
or are you just kind of going like, "Oh
me.
man, you're getting close"? Because we just talked about that upstairs a little bit.
It's so fun to see because, then I put myself in your shoes. Basically when I was first watching it and how I thought. It was like, oh wow, almost the exact same thoughts you had. This is awesome. This is everything. But then I go on to think about the future and what I do know and what you don't know, and kind of try to reconcile how I should respond to you in that sense. It's definitely a reliving moment. Yeah, for sure. It's been nice.
Yeah, I had a pretty similar experience where my first time watching Game of Thrones. I wasn't watching it when it first got released. It was like a couple years after, but I was watching it with somebody that's already seen say I was watching season 1 and season 4 was out and they already watched all that.
Oh.
So it was really nice in that you've got somebody immediately accessible to who is that character or how do they know?
Yeah.
So that's
How much
one
do I
where
care?
it's like the spider web of relationships between the characters and stuff. It's nice having somebody there that can just like answer those questions like that.
Yeah.
One Piece is a little different in that it's not quite as like in depth or hard to remember because so many characters' names are the exact same in Game of Thrones. But,
oh my gosh, and they're all family names, and the family names of this politics and that politics. Like, not saying, by the way, One Piece is very complex in its own right, but its complexities is not like a pure history book remembering.
So I have to imagine that the way that I'm feeling when you're telling us about, oh, I just watched the latest, or here's what happened on the latest episode I just watched, or I can't believe this just happened. It's like I felt the same way, and I imagine the person that was far ahead of me in Game of Thrones rewatching it with me probably felt like, oh my god, I can't wait for him to get to this part, or he's going to lose his mind when this happens. And it's just like
the Red Wedding, man.
You get yourself just as excited, knowing in anticipation, like Paul said, of things to come, but it doesn't take away from the momentary gut feeling when something happens. It was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Like Zoro take on Mihawk for that first time.
Oh, that was awesome.
Like introductions of characters, like huge characters, like power scale, just, unlike anything you've ever seen up to that point.
Yeah.
And it's just like, ooh, that's
and they're
wild.
peppering it in. You know what I mean? Like, I really like how East Blue, very calm. You're outside the Grand Line, but then all of a sudden you get these like nuggets, and you're like, wow, this power system's wild. And you're like, wow, this power system's wild. It's like, dude, are we going to get like to a Goku where we have to go to a different universe just to fight? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on? I think it's fun this interaction that we have, but the other part of it is kind of like a trainer with weight loss. Like, you guys are kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability buddies for me, because because of like, if I stop watching episodes, like,
we get on them.
You'll know. Yeah. So not like there's any given thing or I need to do it every day at noon or whatever.
I mean, right before this episode that we're airing right now, you know, you said, I was like, Joe and I were asking you where you were in the story.
Yeah.
You said, oh, I'm still in Water 7. I'm like, okay, come on. See if you can push to right to Ennis Lobbies.
Yeah.
And you're at the cusp. You're
I'm
right there.
So close, yeah. And it's so funny because I will say, like, I did think for a really long time that, like, this was completely unachievable. But it's wild. I mean, for 20, you know what I mean, really 18 and some change minute episodes. Now, granted, that is a lot. But at the same time, too, like, if you're busting them out, like, just kind of casually, like, I'm not doing any hardcore, like, big watches. Well, actually, there's one, like, I had a little bit of a surgery, and I'm like, I sat down and watched it for 8 hours. Yeah, I got a big chunk out. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I'm just kind of doing a very casual onesie-twosie, you know, stuff. And that'll actually bring into the other thing where, okay, let's just start actually talking about One Piece, because this actually bleeds into the story I was going to tell you guys about. First and foremost, my first initial reactions. I've seen a lot of One Piece clips because I was sending them to you guys, you know what I mean, before I started watching, just because I was like, you know, joking around. But now here I am, almost a year later, being like, dude, you know what I mean? Got the full claw, you know what I mean? Not claw, but fish hooked, you know what I mean? You guys caught me.
It's hooked.
Yeah, so, but I'm just so shocked because I didn't think I'd like the animation. First couple episodes, I was like, what's going on? What? I don't know. And then the other aspects, too, was I kind of thought the humor was, like, a little bit dry after the first, like, couple episodes. But I can honestly say, like, one, you grow to absolutely love the animation. And we could talk more about that. But the other thing was just a quick story of the casual watching of it. So oftentimes I watch this right before bed. I just have a headphone in, you know. And there's one time I literally had to excuse myself out of the room because I was going to wake up Jen. I was laughing so hard. It was when they're caught in the Marine base right after Skypiea.
Yeah.
And Luffy loads the fart on accident. Or no, he does they try to do an impact dial on the jail bars.
Yeah.
Usopp does it. He doesn't want to do it. They're like convincing him. They're like, dude, you have to do this. Like come on, this is our only way out. And he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to hurt himself, right? Because the impact dial is going to do force back onto him. So then he puts it on the cage, and then I think it does his recording first, and then he goes, that wasn't my impact dial. He puts out the other one, does the Luffy fart one, and then it ignites, and there's just something about like that whole arc of like Usopp's reaction, Luffy doing that, like it just like I honestly couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, maybe I'm just like a high schooler at heart, or like, you know, a middle schooler at heart where farts are still funny to me. They are on record, but I don't know why. It's just, but it's a funny show. I mean, I really quite enjoy it. But did you guys have the same initial reactions, like when you guys first watched, or is it the anime, or sorry, was it the animation? Was it?
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned that. We'll see Joe's input here shortly, but when I was, you know, a young lad, first started watching anime and stuff, One Piece was obviously on like the top recommendation list, and with Naruto. So I started watching One Piece, and then I stopped after like 2 episodes, and I'm like, this sucks. You know, the animation is just terrible. I'm not going to watch this anymore.
Yeah.
Cut to like 6 months later, I watched a lot of anime because I just had so much free time. I was like, I'm so bored. I don't know what to do. Screw it. I'll try One Piece again because it's still on the top list. And then I pushed through, and then
got hooked.
I got hooked, right?
When do you feel like you got hooked, though? Like
it's hard to remember, but
do you have like a specific like, wow, the engines are kind of turning here?
Probably when Zoro was introduced.
Oh my gosh, that's early.
Yeah, I mean, because the animation, right? That was my issue, and then I got over it around Zoro's time period.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was a little bit longer. Do you have a thought when you kind of?
In terms of the animation, like, yeah, it's definitely a little. It's kind of like watching, like, you know, season 1 of like South Park. You're like, this is crude.
It's literally like cardboard. Yeah.
1999.
Yeah, and then fast forward and you see like just, you know, how far that's come along. It's still like very obviously like kind of crudely animated, but it's a lot smoother than it was.
But that's like the style. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's they you know, they embrace their style, and they you know, really do what they can around it. In terms of like really getting that hook set for me, I think was probably either Arlong Park or the Baratier, when you get Nami's backstory or Sanji's backstory, because that is the one consistent thing about One Piece is that just when you thought you've seen the saddest thing you've ever thought possible for a character's backstory, they're about to one up it, and it's just like, oh my god,
rip the Band-Aid off.
All these characters are just born out of just desperation and tragedy.
Oh, it's crazy.
So I think when I saw the one moment that a lot of people will say that got them hooked was Nami, when she's like essentially on her knees crying and just says, please help. And Luffy puts his hat on her and starts that badass slow walk towards Arlong Park just to beat down.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good moment.
Ironically, I hate to be, what do you call it, not a bandwagoner, but going with mainstream, it was Arlong Park. 1,000%. I was not really into it. What is going on? Like, I always thought Usopp was kind of weird and I didn't, quite understand it. But then Arlong Park is like, gas.
The moment JoJo's mentioned, I love too, because, she asked for Luffy for help. He put his straw hat on her, and he walks. And then you just see Zoro, Sanji, Usopp all leaning against trees, and they just don't say a word, and they just get up, and they just follow Luffy. Oh. I was like, dang.
Dude, the second part, because they kind of revamped it or revised it.
Sure.
When the Frankie Pirates beat up Usopp.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy just do that Chopper do the slow walk up to Frankie's thing. I was like,
and
this
the
is
music
everything.
That you've heard for at least the 10,000th time. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
it always hits so hard in those moments, and it's the ultimate hype for situations like that.
Yeah, it was so good. I think, but it was Arlong Park where I was like, oh wow, I genuinely care about these characters. Yeah. Like first off, let's also clear the air. I generally cared about Kobe. He was my number one. He's always been my boy. It's actually called Kobe's Fanboys. That's what our chat's name is. For our FBI agents to look up here, Kobe's Fanboys. That's what it is. But no joke. Kobe is just. I mean, I don't know why I love him so much. There's something about him. He's just like this pipsqueak, little sniffly guy. No strength or anything like that. And then seeing him kind of get reprised the backstory. That's when I was like doubled down. I was like, I'm way in this now. Oh, yeah. I'm watching everything until it only seems like he can only grow from here. So there's probably so much more of Kobe. I don't know yet.
It's just hilarious at the start. He went out to go fishing and he got into a pirate little dinghy. Went to the pirate ship by accident, and then he got caught up in that.
And the fact that he just he's around pirates, but he's like his dream is the whole Marine Corps. What I mean? Like that's always kind of an interesting juxtaposition, because here's this pirate, who wants to be king of the pirates. Of course, he's powerful in his own right, as always. But then, here's this one guy who's just kind of just like this pipsqueak going, I want to be a Marine. Then seeing the behind the scenes, how they train Marines, and then Garp helping out Kobe and everything, I was like, oh, that was huge. So I was like, this is sick. I mean, the fact that they're doing that, and whatever that one dude's name is, it's a French name.
Helmeppo.
Yeah.
The goofy guy. I can't remember if he gets reintroduced with the Kobe at that point, but he's got the Cyclops visor. Yeah, that was really goofy. But yeah, Kobe's a really likable character because he has that strong sense of justice that we've seen in Garp up to that point.
Yeah.
But he also, very similar to Luffy, has a strong loyalty to friends and friendships that he's made down the line.
Yeah.
Which is unlike a lot of the Marines that you've seen up to that point, some of the higher end people, because it's just justice. There's no redeeming quality about a pirate in their eyes.
Yep.
So for Kobe to still have be excited to see Luffy, even though he knows he's been a pirate and he's seen the news articles or whatever about what he's been up to. He beat a warlord of the sea in Crocodile, which is essentially a pirate that's a lackey for the government.
Yeah.
So he knows it's technically an ally of his, and he's still just excited to see him.
I mean, technically, at least from what Kobe can surmise, because sometimes the articles are a little bit wrong, skewed politically to smear Luffy. Luffy hasn't done anything bad to anyone, except for maybe beat up innocent Marines, only because they attacked him first.
Yeah.
So that's about it, right? So
He's also got the dedication, right? I mean, I think that was like this whole like training montage was like, I think that's what Garp is saying. It's like, yeah, it's that loyalty, but at the same time too, it's like the dedication to like he's just going to achieve what he's going to do. Like, why get in his way?
Yeah.
Might as well make him a freaking tool. You know what I mean? Like a no joke fighting, great tool for the Marines. And they probably need people like that too. You know what I mean? There should be some sense of justice around here going out this stuff. And that's the other thing too. We're kind of getting this whole world building of this Marine sense of justice because, of course, this is very pirate centered. And you think there'd be some like kind of lawfulness about these Marines, but then also you find these Marines that are like way off cuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to remember the one where they went to come up and they're going to steal all the treasure. I think that was right at the end, or right before they went to Skypiea. Can't remember. Was it Drum Island or Skypiea?
What are you
There's a
talking
bunch
about?
of Marines that came in and they're like, "Hey, we're going to take this gold."
Oh,
and
that was
like,
right before Skypiea.
That's what I
in
thought.
Skull Island or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It's not called Skull Island. It's
But it's
starts
piece
with
of
a
the
J.
Skull Island that
Yeah.
is like that didn't get raised up. But the whole point is like they're like, we're going to take all your gold, and then they go hog wild and take
Yeah.
all the Marines. Because I think they were supposed to take someone back.
It wasn't the
I'm misremembering
actually,
that.
I think you're misremembering. It wasn't the Marines may have had interest, but it was Bellamy who took all the guys' gold. Bellamy stole the gold they found,
Yeah.
right, when they were diving in the sea.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
yeah,
Luffy
yeah,
came
yeah.
up and one-punched him.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Bellamy was. Wait, no, but was Bellamy a pirate or is he a Marine?
He's a pirate.
pirate.
He's this stretchy spring fruit guy, right?
Spring
Yeah.
Spring, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he
just got.
yeah,
He
I'll
just got
stop there.
offed by the Don.
What?
Don
Offed by the-
Flamingo. Don Flamingo killed him. This is true.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, at least what I saw.
Okay.
Now you're making me guess. Second guess.
No, I do remember now. Yeah, so Don Quixote do Flamingo, one of the other, I think he's
Warlords.
been introduced as a warlord to this point. If not, it was
Yeah.
made shortly after. But
He's got the smile,
so he-
not smile brooch thing, and so all of them have it too. I don't know if it's smile, not smile. Maybe Ace is the one who has it too.
Ace is the one that has that on his hat. The
smile and
comedy
frowny.
and tragedy.
Yeah. But what do they have? But the whole point is like Bellarmine and his boys have something that also Don has on them. I
Yeah,
think.
they're followers of Doflamingo, right?
Yeah. I didn't
And
know
he
there was
has
some
his
connection.
pirate symbol
That's
on
what
his
it-
back or on his arm somewhere.
That's what it's been. But they came in. They're like, you let Luffy.
And he cut him up.
Yeah. So that's what I've got. So
String fruit.
yeah, string fruit. Yeah, that's crazy. But sorry, we've been kind of jumping in just because it's very natural to talk about these things going on these lines. But do we want to go really quick on? So we kind of talked about some favorite parts, but do we just want to no joke go through
Yeah, let's go
every
through.
step? I mean, we're
we'll
kind
go
of at a
through it
good
pretty
time
quickly,
right now.
yeah.
Yeah, so we got the East Blue just showing up with overall Luffy saying, hey, what's up? What's going on? And then we have kind of a little, not like a crazy amount of his backstory, but we do get some of the whole, how he got a straw hat, everything like that. Shanks is, helps him against the Sea King, may or may not have lost an arm.
That's a very controversial scene for a long, long time.
Yeah, so I don't know, controversy of it. But that's what was basically kind of going on. But you do get a sense of Luffy hanging out the East Blue, King the Pirate, coming up against the Chop Fruit and
Alvia.
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 Yeah.
The fat toad lady.
Yeah. Kobe's mistress, or not mistress. That's way different thing.
That's way off.
Yeah. Captain, technically, of the ship that Kobe's on. And that's when we first kind of get this huge meeting of Nami's also trying to take the gold from these pirates, and Nami's getting introduced.
She was dancing in that nice cruise, high class ship, and then when they were attacked, and she zipped on over. Yeah, that was nice to see her.
Then you see her title is Luffy, future king of the pirates, or Zoro, pirate hunter, and she's like cat burglar. Nami.
Cat burglar Nami.
She's out there trying to just steal gold from pirates mostly, just because they're very easy targets for her. But then you kind of learn why is she after this mountain of gold.
Yep. Yeah, and then I guess that's the other thing too. There's kind of like this. Really, it's just Nami and Luffy first, and then they're like, "Hey, they're kind of parting ways." Then he goes, "I'm gonna go with Zoro. I need to go get people for my crew." Mm-hmm. It just so happens that she's like, "Hey, we go in the same direction. Let's just go out that way, right?" Or Zoro on the crew at this point?
No, so at the moment, Zoro was on the crew at this point, right? Because
Okay.
when they're at Alvia's ship, whatever, she steals all her gold and then bounces in a different dinghy, while Luffy and Kobe are in another one, right? And that's when the moment they finally see each other, because they land at the same time, they lock eyes, and she
Yeah.
goes one way, he goes another.
Yeah.
But they end up both going to whatever island Zoro's at.
That's what it is. Okay, so they
Oh, wait.
go to Zoro. Yeah,
Sorry, that's wrong. Luffy goes to the island where Zoro's at. They end up, if they pick up Zoro because he's being persecuted by the Marines unlawfully, or whatever.
Yeah.
Saved him, whatever. They meet up where Buggy's island is, that he's occupying. That's where they meet up, because then she sees him and is like, you know what, you're strong. And her thought is like, I'm going to use you,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
for
yeah.
my own means to leave and escape.
Yeah, I need to
and then
get out of
back
here.
home,
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Was that Logtown where they met up? Or is that
No,
later on?
Log.
This
Logtown's something
is
else.
the
So
tough
close.
part. Is like for us, this is like literally 1,000 episodes ago. I think the current count's at
Yeah.
like 1170 or 1180 maybe.
Well, the other thing too is like this is only 200 episodes for me, but even 200 episodes, it's like difficult because like especially early on, it's crazy how much was going on the first 40 episodes. And then kind of, goes in these arcs. But, I mean, we don't have to go maybe just so it's easier on us. We don't have to go too sequential. But the whole point is, like, the whole East Blue saga arc, or all these different arcs, is just building up the crew, how we should grab them.
Let's talk about them then. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
it
also
might
hit
make
the
it
arcs,
easier.
right?
Yeah, that might make it easier.
So for Zoro, I forget. Do you know why he was a pirate hunter yet?
No, the only reason why I know... Well, so the big thing about Zoro, he wants to be the best swordsman of all time.
Correct.
And he had his teacher's daughter, who's also wickedly great at swordsmanship.
Way better than him.
Way better than him, kicking his booty. She ended up passing away.
Mm-hmm.
And then he vowed to never stop training, to always be strong as swordsman. He even asked for her sword, which happens to be a very special sword, which we then later find out through Smoker's second in command, whatever her name was.
Kizumi.
I forget her name, but
Something
that's
like
okay.
that. Yeah, it's
she
nice.
looks exactly like.
She looks
the
just
deceased
like
friend.
her,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what is going on? But then she's explaining all the different swords. But that was a really fun episode because now they're explaining the whole
Yeah.
swordsman. But really, that's Zoro's big arc.
Do you remember the reason why she died?
Yep.
That Zoro's childhood friend, the girl that died.
Yeah, I don't. It
So-
just said she died. She literally it came out.
Really?
I don't think they explained it.
It-
I know unless I'm way
It
misremembering
did,
this.
and it's not going to spoil anything. It did, but she just fell down the stairs with her sword and got killed.
Correct.
Oh,
And-
really?
And yeah, I had looked it up. That's what they say. It fell down the stairs. It turns out that phrase of "fell down the stairs" in Japanese culture, at least, is a very nice way of saying committed seppuku.
Now that's true. I did see that as well, but I haven't really confirmed it. But I've seen because I get One Piece stuff that pops up every now and then, and I think Oda has confirmed that she legitimately just fell down the stairs.
Really?
Yeah, because a child committing suicide, it kind
Yeah.
of sounds bad.
Oh,
so he's
yeah.
like, no, she just actually fell down the stairs and died with the
Yeah.
sword. So
Okay.
we can look that up later, but I'm pretty sure she actually
Well,
didn't commit.
We're about to
seppuku.
talk about some real heavy stuff, anyways. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But dude, Sanji's backstory, the leg.
wanna
There's
talk-
a different controversy between.
There's there's a real one, manga,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there's anime.
So we'll get to that when we get to Sanji.
Yeah.
But let's just do an order, I guess. So that's Zoro.
Yep, he's pretty simple for now.
That's a pretty simple one. The only other thing is it's really awesome because his whole shtick is that he wants to become the best swordsman. Well, how do you become the best swordsman? You got to learn how to cut everything. And then there's a big kind of thing where he finally gets to cut steel or iron or whatever it was. He finally figures that out, and it's a really big arc jump in his skill set, and it's really cool seeing him how strong he gets. And then he also fights Mihawk. But I'm just kind of
that
doing
was
the
cool.
big solo ones. And that's
I think that's the easiest way to do it. Yeah,
Yeah, Mihawk is a big one. He was
getting dumpstered by the current greatest swordsman of all time.
Yep.
Oh, I also love the fact that he's don't hit my back, just welcomes the blades. 'cause he's
He
just
met him way too soon, right? And the moment he met him, he's like, I have to fight him. I have to try. And obviously he got whomped with a really mini sword that Mihawk just took off his necklace.
Yeah.
Until the very end where Zoro, kind of showed he had the guts.
Gusto, yeah.
He's like, okay, and now I'm going to strike you down with my actual blade. and he defeated Zoro. He destroyed both his swords because he has 3 swords. Fun fact.
Yeah.
He destroyed 2 swords, but not like his childhood friend's sword, which is his now.
The main one, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you beat me," and then Zoro, does a T pose right in front of him, basically, and he
Scars on a
scars his
swordsman's
chest.
back, or the ultimate
Shame or something.
Shame or something.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so he
That
exposes
was
himself
so
and takes
sick.
a big yeesh.
Yeah.
And Mihawk clearly spares him, right?
Yeah.
And then Zoro's like, he pledges to Luffy, he'll never lose again until he becomes Pirate King or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll never
But
lose
he makes
again.
he makes his promise.
Yeah.
But I just thought, like, first off, Mihawk's sword is so sick.
Oh, yeah.
More importantly, at first when he came in that little dinghy thing, I'm like, this is such a dumb ship. And then all of a sudden, I was like, this is actually clean. Just literally just a throne on a couple planks, and that's what he's rocking. You know what I mean?
With just candles on it.
Yeah,
he's got,
candles.
he's got that goth look with the black flame candles, and then just
Edward
G.
Allan Poe, fanboy. Yeah. Jeez, it's so good. But yeah, I think that's really all of Zoro. I can't think of anything off the top of my head after that. Nami's probably the next. This is
Nami
like
is.
the first big arc, though, because Zoro's was kind of a side couple episodes on East Blue. Like that was in the East Blue arc. when
What,
they're
for
talking
his
about this.
background?
Yeah. So I mean, let's just call it like we get an inkling on Luffy's and Zoro's backgrounds in East Blue.
Sure.
Now we're in Arlong Park.
Yep. With
That's
them.
where we're getting all of Nami's background,
Correct.
and that's some wild background. Now you
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, so as Joe said before, she's, I guess we all have said that she's just stealing a bunch of gold from pirates mostly, and you wonder why. First of all, she does love money, I guess, product of her upbringing.
Yeah.
Second of all, we learn, right, that her town was taken over by fishermen pirates. Arlong is the captain, and he's been holding, he targeted Nami because Nami is very gifted in sea charts and cartography, which
Navigators.
navigation, which apparently was a big thing for Arlong because he wanted to be able to completely navigate the area around him. So he kept her as a slave. Basically, he's like, hey, if you raise 100 million berries, which again is the currency of the world, you can buy your town.
Yeah.
And hence that's why she's been stealing money for 10 years of her life.
Because he's got a weird. He's not a. Oh my gosh, the pirates that are deemed by the Marines. What are they called?
He's not a warlord.
Warlord.
He's
thank
just
you.
paying
he's
off
not
the
warlord,
local
but he's
Marines.
paying off the local Marines, which is like the first kind of. There's some exploitation here.
correct.
Yep.
Essentially to keep the HQ so they don't know about him, and then come crashing in. Yeah,
That's how Luffy first became a pirate, because he defeated Arlong, who was doing clear bad, and he beat up the corrupt Marine, and the Marine ran to the transponder, and he's like, hey, I got this new pirate, put the biggest bounty you can on this guy.
Yeah.
Right, because he's trying to kill Luffy. So that's how Luffy became officially a pirate.
Yeah, but I just wanted to mention that was the first time we see Marine corruption. That's a big now we're kind of getting this weird external world building of there's this Marines, there's these pirates. He's not really a warlord, but he's not necessarily sanctioned by the Marines, but is getting the don't ask, don't tell kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, 1,000%, Paul. That's crazy with all of Arlong. And I freaking love Arlong. All the fish people.
Fishermen,
Their abilities. Oh, and there's just his nose and his teeth, and he keeps growing them back.
When Luffy took out both, because he, at some points during their fight, Arlong's teeth fall off, and he's basically a shark man, so sharks grow back their teeth, but his grew back instantly.
Yeah.
Luffy, at some point, he gets 2 teeths on him that Arlong just left, and he pulled them both out, and he does I forget the name of the move, but he just puts them in his hand, and he chomps them.
He's wearing them gloves, yeah.
And then he chomps Arlong with his own teeth.
Yeah. I love it.
That was pretty funny.
And his sword's sick. The fact that it's that
The big
razor.
raised, yeah.
Oh, that's so clean. That was a good fight, though. That was the first
That was the first real fight.
real big fight.
Yeah.
First real big backstory, too, I think.
And it's when you also see Luffy's devil fruit.
Yeah.
Weakness, right? The sea weakened him. Yep. Big mistake move in hindsight, but
Yeah, I know, that's a huge mistake. So that's really basically Nami's background. Oh, also the fact that, like, that's why there's tangerines on the Going Merry.
Correct.
She's all about, like, her caretaker, which is not her mom,
Correct.
Adopted mom. She was a Marine and then found her and her sister, basically, you know, orphans after the war.
Yeah.
She picked them both up.
And she, was taking care of them, and then that's why it was such a big deal, because she wasn't making a lot of money. So when Arlong was coming in, she's like, I only have enough money to pay for 2 people, but she had 3 people in her house, and they were trying to hide her, and again, this big thing, and her mom passed away.
He killed her in front of her. So
that was, for sure. And I think that's what, once again, this is all this crazy background and why it's so important, and then also why she gets to a point where she's like breaking down, because right before, like, she finally makes her 100 million berries, and Arlong's like, I'm taking this gold. You're done.
Now I'm thinking about it. That's probably what you're referring to, maybe with Marines taking gold, because he told them corrupt Marine where it was, and he took the money.
Yeah. I couldn't remember where that was at, but I knew someone was getting some money somewhere. I can't remember. But so that must have been it. But the point is that so the Marines end up taking her money, and he's like, well, still don't have 100 million, kind of deal, and that's when she realized, like, oh, this was all for naught. Like, literally my entire life focus was to free this town, and we'll never truly be free because there's no rules.
The escape hatch that she thought she had to get this 100 million, turns out it's never going to be enough. So that's when she's like, please, someone help. And Luffy jumps in.
And that was a big thing for Nami, because obviously, from Arlong, she hates pirates. Hence why she targets them and steals from them. And she hated Luffy, too, because she's like, you're a pirate.
Yeah.
Why would I think you're a good person? But then obviously Luffy showed her that he was like a good person and trustworthy.
He's the man, yeah.
And then she finally broke down and asked for his help.
Yeah. Oh, what a good scene. And then now we're on Sanji.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Sanji or Usopp?
Sanji.
Well, Usopp was like picked up
I guess it is
in
Usopp.
Syrup Village technically before Nami, because he's there in Arlong Park also fighting. But
but you don't get his full backstory.
We do.
Yeah,
Do
well,
we?
it's pretty short. He's
simple.
essentially just
He's a simple
the
one.
local, kid that's like, oh, I want to be a brave warrior of the sea.
Tall tale.
And he's tall tale. He's got the long nose like Pinocchio. Everything he says is extremely exaggerated.
Yep.
Then go ahead.
Yeah, so with Usopp, it's really funny. First of all, before I start talking anymore, do you know who his dad is exactly?
They mentioned that his dad was a sniper, and they just said marksman. I can't remember if he was on Blackbeard or some Beard's pirate crew. I don't remember.
So you don't know what pirate crew he's on?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I just know that he was a pirate, and they're like, oh, he's a
Then I won't
marksman.
go into it.
Yeah.
So Usopp, his dad is a pirate, obviously.
And the worst part is, like, they might have mentioned it, and I'm like, it didn't mean anything at the time. I was 40 episodes in, so
But yeah,
I'm like, whatever.
It probably isn't what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But he's a marksman. He left. He always told Usopp, or at least others, like his dream is to be a warrior of the sea. And Usopp is the same now, and he wants to be free, right? He doesn't have any plans to ever go back to like his family. And his mom was dying when he was young, and she, really loved her husband, obviously. And Usopp lied to her to make her feel better. She knew he was lying, but he kept saying, "Oh, there's a pirate. Pirates are coming. Dad's coming back."
Yeah.
And that made her laugh and smile, and then she died like that. Mm-hmm. So like every day or every week or something, he kept doing it for like all the way up until he met Luffy, and that's why he was the village liar.
Boy who cries wolf. Pirates
Yeah.
are coming. So when Luffy and Zoro actually do come, obviously no one believes them. Like it's just it's Wednesday at noon. Time for the air raid sirens for the tornado warning.
Yeah.
It's just that time.
Well, the other thing too is that he was also trying to help the sickly.
That too.
That was like because he was trying to make her feel better. That was another big proponent of it. Where, that's really down to his character. He's like, at the end of the day, like his lies are so they're not hurting anybody. It's annoying, but it's not hurting anybody, and he is doing it in a good place. So, Usopp, by the way, those couple episodes, I was like, nah, I know about this guy. He's my favorite character. Flat, straight up favorite character. Well, I can't get enough of Usopp.
It was funny because one particular time, when he was telling that sickly girl stories, he made up one.
Kaya, I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah, he made up one with like a big giant goldfish, big enough to like poop islands or whatever.
Yeah.
And we literally see one in a little garden. The Giants talk about it. Hilarious, but he doesn't have to lie anymore for his stories. Let's put it that way.
Oh, dude, the Giants has pretty good. That was a pretty good also scene as well. So I forgot about Usopp was before that too. Yeah. He had to have been there during Arlong, but then it was after that we had the Yardie.
Yeah. Well, technically, Nami only joined after Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp. Technically.
Oh, gotcha. But she was,
she abandoned them and used them.
Yeah,
all the way up until that point. So
yeah.
But Sanji.
Yeah. Joey, want to hit Sanji's?
Yeah, I absolutely love the whole arc of the Baratier. The Baratier is the floating restaurant that is, I think, still in the East Blue, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That both pirates and Marines can come and eat. It's kind of like Switzerland. It's neutral ground.
Yep.
And the owner there, Zeph, has comically large hat, like think Abraham Lincoln, but then stack 10 Abraham Lincoln hats on top of each other.
Doug Dimmadome for your favorite.
Yeah, exactly. That's a better one. Doug Dimmadome. And that is a tremendous arc that I still remember fondly, and for watching for the first time when Tony was watching for the first time going through it, I was like, yes, he's finally here.
Oh, yeah. It was wild.
And, so Luffy and his crew arrive at the Baratier. Great, they're going to sit there and eat or whatever. I think it was shortly before they were planning on going to enter the Grand Line. And while they're there, another pirate comes who's essentially like Don Krieg, correct me if I'm wrong, he's like, I'm the strongest one. I've got all the biggest, baddest weapons. Nobody can touch me. I've got this. I'm wearing this cloak that's made out of iron with spikes. Like he's the ultimate, just like, dude, the bigger and stronger guns I buy type stuff.
Yeah, peacocking.
Peacocking. That's like, nobody can touch me.
Well, he also is the one. Like we talk about honorable, dishonorable pirates, whatever. He was definitely a dishonorable pirate. Like he fought dirty. The iron cloak and everything.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Poison, you name it.
He's very offensive and not very moral when being offensive.
Actually, when I think about it, he was an ex-Marine captain, I think.
Correct.
And he stole like one of their galleon ships or something and became a pirate.
Yeah, I can't remember how all that worked. But yeah, it was a quick backstory for him.
So while they're at the Baratier, they also meet Zeph's sous chef, Sanji.
Heck yeah.
And this is where we start to see. Well, we get introduced to the character trope that will be consistent through the rest of the show. Is Sanji is a ladies' man.
Oh yeah,
Nami Swan.
Nami Swan.
Oh, dude, that's so funny. I was like, what are you guys talking about? That's because you guys are watching subbed.
Oh yeah,
Nami, my dear. Yeah. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? He says, Nami, my dear. Yeah.
So
Nami, my sweet.
Yeah, super amazing character. Never uses his hands. His hands are exclusively for cooking.
Yeah.
So
hands in pockets.
So he becomes like essentially the ultimate kickboxer minus the boxing.
Yeah.
And so then we get introduced to his background, and this is where there's the big difference between the manga version, which is still a great version, but I do love the anime.
I love the anime.
The differences from the anime.
I disagree. I feel like, again, there's not a lot of differences between them, but this is the one that I had the most gripe with.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe let's say the anime version, and then we'll say Paul's version, and we'll leave it up to the listeners where they like better.
Agreed.
Yeah. So if somebody could help me with how it starts, because I'm trying to remember how
they're getting fought. Like they're on a marine ship.
Sanji's on a marine ship as like a chef apprentice.
Yeah, and Zeph is on a pirate ship.
Correct.
And so what ends up happening is fighting ensues.
Correct.
And then
Storm comes.
A
cometh.
Yeah. And that the whole shtick is that at some point Sanji starts going in the water and drowning. Zeph then comes and grabs him, you know, but as he's grabbing him, that's when basically there's this chain with an anchor on it and wraps around his leg, and he kind of has this moment of like he could clearly save himself and leave, or take the leg, grab Sanji, and then get the heck out of Dodge.
Correct. Sanji's drowning, and Zeph is about to be pulled down by this anchor that is wrapped around his leg.
Yeah.
And in order to make that decision to save Sanji, he swims down and essentially does something where he wraps the anchor even further and then yanks it to lose his own leg, to then be able to swim and rescue Sanji, who at this point is under the water. And then they swims him to safety, through this big storm, and they wake up on this essentially, like rock that's no bigger than this room.
Yeah.
And
there's like this food rationing, and they're like, hey, we got this bag of food. I gave you half. Well, I'll take my half.
He took a bigger portion.
Yeah, he took a bigger portion, and then Sanji was all pissed because he's like, what the heck? And he's all mad at him. And he's like, hey, I'm bigger. Also, I didn't have to share anything with you. Like, go take your stuff.
Yep.
And they ration their food out. And this is where a lot of the food stuff comes in, where Sanji gets really sensitive about when people waste food. He uses every piece of every single food in his dishes, like, because he basically was like starving out, and they're close to death. They got saved, and then that's when they became the idea of the BRDA, which is just like, no matter what happens, Marine, pirates, don't even care. Anyone out in the waters can eat at our establishment. No food wasted.
No one will starve basically on the open sea.
Yeah.
But
also, by the way, sorry, really quick, just for Zeph's shout out, then after a couple times he's about to die, Sanji then, like, even though he's still hating Zeph for taking more food, he comes back over to Zeph to, I can't remember, to talk to him or whatever.
He's going to knife him.
Yeah, he's going to, oh yeah, you're right. He's going to knife him and take the rest of his food. Because he starts to realize, like, Zeph hasn't touched, like, his bag yet.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, turns out that the bag is just gold.
Correct.
It's not even food.
Zeph gave all the food to Sanji. There's two bags, the big one and small one. You think both are food, and Sanji got the short end of the stick. Well, it turns out he gave all the food to Sanji, and he's sitting there with this, huge bag of gold. And this entire time they've been essentially sitting on opposite sides of this rock.
Yep.
Without even
for days,
waiting. I'm gonna look this way for a ship. You look that way. Don't come over here. We might miss the ship.
Yeah.
So stay separate. So finally, Sanji works up the courage because he's been going days now after he finished off his food rations, and he's like, I'm gonna kill Zeph. I'm gonna take his food. I need to survive.
Yeah.
And comes to that realization that Zeph is gaunt or ghastly. He's skin and bones.
Yeah.
And they had no food to begin with. So. I was just gonna say they have a big heart-to-heart moment, and then finally a ship does come by, and that bag of gold is the reason why Zeph was able to have the funding to build that Baratie ship in his dream.
Yeah. So let's talk about the manga version. The difference.
Yeah.
So the difference is with the anchor moment, right? The anchor moment is cool, but also, in my opinion, not as cool as what it was. So
it shows how metal he is, though. He's willing to take
the
his
anchor
own
moment
way.
never happened, right? So everything else occurred. They got to the island. He had his big bag of gold. Sanji didn't know. He kept it and gave Sanji all the food, and Sanji went over.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sanji, after days, weeks, whatever, starving, comes over with a knife to basically kill Zeph if need be and take all the food. And like you said, the bag didn't change anything, didn't change size. He stabbed the bag, ripped it open, it's all gold, and he's like, what the heck? And he's like, oh man, where's the food? And he walks over to him, and then his face, like on the image, is just shocked, and he's like, what have you done? And he just clips down, and his leg is gone. Because Zeph cut off his own leg and ate it. Because he was dying of starvation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the original version. Zeph cut off his own leg and ate it and gave Sanji all the food.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit of auto cannibalism, for a kid's show.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal?
Yeah, what's the problem, right?
So yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. But still, either way, what a great backstory. I mean, it's showing the quality of Zeph. And that's why it's so hard for Sanji to leave Zeph. And that's where it was like a big deal, because it's like they have this really big bond that they went through.
And, so we've seen Zoro, who wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. We've seen Usopp, who wants to become a brave warrior of the sea.
Yeah.
We've seen Nami, who I don't think we had mentioned up to this point, but her dream was to map the entire world.
Yeah.
So like that's why she was big into cartography and all that. And then Sanji, we learn through the Baratier arc that there is a location in the world. So we had this world divided up into the North Blue, East Blue, South Blue, West Blue.
If you haven't seen our One Piece episode, please watch it.
Correct.
Because you guys explain it really well there.
There is this fabled patch of sea where all four, the North, East, South, and West Blues all meet. And the reason that that's important is, to Sanji at least, is all the fish, from the North and the East, South, West, because they're all different culinary experiences and different tastes and flavors. He wants to find the All Blue, as it's known, and be able to find that and then kind of set up shop like Zeph did and be able to cook all the world's delicacies and delights. That's his dream.
Yep.
Yeah. I do, but of all the dreams, that's probably my favorite one.
It is
Like,
pretty cool.
honestly, the King of the Pirates, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, cartography of the world, yeah, whatever. But, like, All Blue, there's something about it.
And
It's
that
kinda
dream
fun.
too probably has like the biggest conspiracy theories behind it, because my favorite one is some point during the probably towards the end, the only way to make that happen that I know of is to take down at least part of the Red Line.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know too much. Let's careful
but-
spoilers. But yeah, I don't know too much because the Red Line is just that basically the mountain pass, right, where they go up in order to get.
That's
to
the
Grand
reverse
Line.
mountain, but the Red Line is like
It's that
the whole
big,
circumference of land.
equatorial divide that, like, essentially, as far as spans around the world. So unless there was like some inlet where it didn't exist and nobody's found it, or maybe the seas around it were treacherous, it's hard to imagine how all four seas
Exactly.
Could even
could
touch.
connect, unless there's some like
something at the pole or
some sort of current that like brings them all together, under the wall or
That
something.
too.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's exciting. So I just like that as a thought process, character arc, everything like that. I think the other.
Got Chopper.
Yeah, so we got Chopper next. So
That's
Arlong
it.
happens, Bartier happens, which I forgot what the arc's called.
I think that's just it.
It's just Baratier, yeah.
Oh, okay. And then, then we have, Chopper with Drum Island and
Yep.
all that other fun stuff.
After they go past Log Town, whatever it's called.
Fight the Giants.
Right, isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, Log
Town
Town,
of Beginnings.
and they
And end.
actually make their way onto the Grand Line.
Yep.
And then the first island that they find after the Grand Line would be Drum Island.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so there's a little bit, because the other hard thing too is like, it's sometimes hard to remember because these arcs, there's a little bit of build up before the arc really starts.
Right.
And it's like, where does that happen? Is it at the end of that arc or is it the beginning of this arc where like these in between happens? But yeah, so we have Drum Island, and this is where we get the ship's doctor. So Luffy kind of has an idea. Right when they get on the Grand Line, by the way, they got a ship from Kaya's, because turns out Kaya's rolling in it. Didn't know that.
Rolling the dough.
Yeah, rolling the dough. We kind of skipped over that, but it's a quick thing. Whole point is the butler's trying to kill her for the money the whole time. He's really a pirate. He's a cat guy. Slinks around. And just really
The way you
fast.
said that, the cat guy.
It is fast. It's like under 15 episodes or
Yeah,
something.
it's super quick. But the whole shtick is that to reward Usopp and the friends for basically saving her life, she's like, yeah, I could spare, couple X amount of berries out. And so they end up building her the Going Merry, and that's their ship. So relatively small ship, but the whole point is like they were, hey, we got this crew, now we're approaching the Grand Line, like, Captain, like, what's your thoughts? And it's just kind of like, we got to build up the crew more kind of deal. And so that's where now it's the thought process of like, okay, I need a doctor. We need a, he comes to realization in different times. Because the first realization he says is we need to have a, oh my gosh, an instrumentalist. What's that called? A bard. I don't know if he says bard.
He needs a musician. He says
Musician. That was like one of his first things. They're like, no, you idiot. We need a doctor. Because Nami ends up getting sick. And that was kind of how this all starts, which is just like, hey, we're now on this Grand Line. Yep. We don't have access to a lot. Clearly, these islands aren't, habitable. Our navigator, which quite frankly, no offense to everybody, you can be as strong as you want, but your ship on the Grand Line is only as strong as your navigator until you reach land because they can't really do much. So now they're like, whoa, this is a single point of failure. She's sick. What do we do? Okay, we should probably get a doctor. And that's where the doctor starts coming up. And then that also just bleeds in because we can talk about it just in 1 second. Is now after all these adventures, the Going Merry is looking worse for wear. Now he needs shipwright. So now it's like it's very need based is how they're determining this crew, which I really kind of like. So sorry, not to get ahead and put the cart before the horse, but I do want to explain that's like Luffy's kind of reasoning, or more or less the crew's like telling Luffy like, no, we need a doctor. Like yeah.
Well, I thought it was really cool how basically they, Luffy and Chopper met. Because, yes, it stemmed from they need a doctor. And now that I think about it, the first island they ran to on the Grand Line that I remember is Little Garden.
Correct.
Whole adventure there. Nami got sick because there was, like, super rare ancient tick bit her, right?
Oh.
And she's just annoying me.
Is
right?
the ancient one? Is that the guy with the treasure chest?
No, and that's with the giants. Doggy and Broggy or something like that?
Dory and Broggy.
Dory and Broggy.
But he's talking about that little guy in the...
That was a filler episode.
Paul writes all that
is.
stuff off as filler. I thought you were spoiling something for him earlier when you were talking about... I can't remember which exact piece. Maybe it was when they came down from the Sky Island. But I was like, you might be spoiling for Paul. I don't know.
I
if
have
you've
seen
that.
that.
You might have skipped it.
That was the best filler episode I can think of.
Which one?
The one when they came down from Skypia and their ship stuck like in the middle of the marine base.
Yeah. Which is funny because like I legit thought that was like the most important thing ever, and it was like
no, it was completely useless.
It meant nothing. It was cool. I mean, but yeah, it meant literally nothing. I always guys got me, but anyways,
right? They get Nami. She's sick. They get to Drum Island.
Yep.
They're like, "Where's there has to be a doctor? Where's there a doctor?" And like, oh, they're all gone because the previous king took all our doctors and left the island.
Yep.
For various reasons. I'm not remembering, but it doesn't matter. But there's one crazy witch lady doctor in the castle. I was like, okay, where's the castle? Oh, it's on this giant, huge drum-shaped mountain that's like thousands of feet tall you have to go to. And
well, sorry. So the reason was, I'm remembering back, is the king wanted total control of his people. What's one of the best ways to get total control of your people is like he exclusively took
left.
all the doctors.
Yeah, but I forget why he left.
Well, I think he was in search of something, but he took all the doctors with him.
He left because there was something wrong, and I forget what it was.
Well, he's got the factory or the stone jaw or whatever the crap
He's the
it's called.
factory fruit.
Factory, yeah. I can't remember why.
See, this is the part where you try and he does make appearances too. Wapple, King Wapple.
I think it's Wa. Yeah.
W-A-P-O-L,
It sounds like waffle, but
I
yeah, Wapple. But the whole trick is that's originally what he does. He does end up kicking out all the doctors.
They're called.
I remember now. He fled in fear because the Blackbeard pirates attacked the island, just decimated people, and he just took all the good people and left. And by good, I mean like high-tier doctors and soldiers.
Oh, okay.
Then the Blackbeard pirates left, and that's why Dalton became the de facto leader of like the people.
Leader of the people.
And then Wapple came back because Blackbeard pirates were gone.
Okay. And then I knew he took the doctor, and I thought it was in control of the people, but it turns out it was just out of fear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was a little crybaby. But.
Yeah. But yeah, and that one's a pretty interesting arc because you actually don't even get a lot of Drum Island. Really, you're just kind of focusing on Tony Chopper and this mad scientist who's trying to, because basically it's always snowy, and his whole thing is he just wants the cherry blossoms to bloom. That's his whole big thing. He's like, it's almost like the Sorcerer's Stone. There's some alchemical properties that if I have the right mixture, I can make all these trees bloom again.
Yep. That was really beautiful.
And it's this medical profession where we're trying to cure real diseases and whatever sicknesses people have. And this guy's trying to cure, sickness of the heart.
Yeah.
And that's his whole thing. And so he gets, laughed out of every town he's in. Yeah. And then we get introduced to Tony Chopper, who is a reindeer that eats a human fruit. So now he is able to talk, and we find out that he's taking a real interest in medicine and is trying to learn all this medical information from.
Can't remember his name.
This is killing me because I remember Kureha, who's the witch doctor,
she's
at
right.
the top.
Yeah.
But he's trying to learn all this information from the mad doctor and
Because he's the first one and only one. Because
he found Chopper and basically raised him because Chopper was kicked out from his herd.
Because he's
correct.
nose.
Yeah, because the deer don't
His nose.
accept him anymore. Big Rudolph complex.
Yep.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because I will say One Piece is...
Sorry, Dr. Hiruluk. Hiruluk.
I do get a big kick on how One Piece, when you really think about it, you think... But I'm not... First off, I'd never disrespect Oda. I'm not disrespecting Oda.
Good.
But he has really solid takes on, classic stories. So, for example, Pinocchio with Usopp. Long nose,
Yes.
always telling lies. Rudolph complex. Tony Chopper has a blue nose, not a red nose. And they're like, nope, don't want him. And he ends up eating a fruit, makes him even more of a freak. He feels like he can never be accepted anywhere because animals aren't expecting, or animals aren't accepting of him. And then now people aren't accepting of him because now he's like this weird monster. And now this doctor's the only one to really go out and Santa, if you will.
And Chopper also
because he just wants to bring out holiday cheer for everybody, for all to hear.
And the fun thing is Chopper also has a really good perspective on, or a good view on pirates, positive view on pirates, because the doctor was
Dr.
an ex-pirate.
turns out to be an ex-pirate.
Yeah.
And he has in his home his basically pirate flag, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chopper's like, what's this? And he's like, oh, this is freedom, this is something good or whatever.
It's my resolution to the world that I will make this cherry blossom bloom, and I will make all the hearts of all the people who are sick. He's got a whole exposition on it.
Yeah, and I totally forget his explanation for everything, but I believe at some point the doctor becomes sick, right?
He knows he's going to die.
So he gets sick at one point. He's been working tirelessly on trying to find this way to make the cherry blossoms bloom.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Chopper, who is has been at this point studying under him for a while, takes one of his medical textbooks and is looking through it and is trying to find what has the doctor not thought of that might help him. And he looks at this page and he sees that's the symbol on
his flag.
Dr. Hiruluk's flag.
Yeah.
Maybe this will save him. So he goes out and treacherous journey out in the cold, and the various animals are after him. But he finally finds this mushroom that he's been after, and brings it back to the doctor, and is so excited. He hands it to him, and he's like, "I found this for you. It's got the symbol of your flag on it. It must help." And the doctor comes to the realization that it's a poisonous mushroom. It had the skull and crossbones indicating poison. That's what was on the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously extremely tragic, but it has this, the doctor knows he's dying anyways, but in order to, really make Chopper feel like he's doing good work and, how much he cares about him, he prepares and then eats the mushroom, the poisonous mushroom.
The Romeo and Juliet. Here we go.
Then the other, the witch doctor lady, when Chopper... They see each other now. When Chopper told her what he did, she smacks him and just yells at him. It's like, you just killed him type of thing. So Chopper does learn what he did, right?
Well, she understands the gravity. She's trying to understand. She's trying to make him understand the gravity of
exactly.
Hey, you are taking care of people. This has real world consequences. You made an assumption, wasn't right, and that's why she virtually then takes him under her wing. But her training is very, let's just say, non-traditional, also really tough, because it's just no, how would you how would you think about it? She's all about root cause analysis, and I really actually appreciate it.
And I don't want to call Dr. Hiruluk, who's basically trying to do mental health doctoring, not a real doctor. Yeah. But she was a real medicine doctor.
She's based in reality and,
he's holistic,
and curing actual diseases type stuff.
She just wanted Chopper to learn you can't just mess around with these things. You need to know what it is and what you're doing, otherwise you're going to kill people. Basically did.
You just did
your
father. But also, you killed your dad. Congratulations. It's what?
You played yourself.
Jesus, Murphy. Yeah. And then, then of course, this is all building up, and this is all backstory for Johnny Chopper. But then, of course, Waffle comes back, and they're like, "Hey, I'm taking everything back," and the people are like, "Yeah, dude, no way, our boy's back." I can't remember his name. I always forget it. God. Dalton. Thank you. Jeez, I knew it was D. Yeah. I was thinking about Doric because we were just talking about RuneScape. That's a mining quest. Doric. Sure. Yeah, I give it. But Dalton, sorry. Dalton is the fact of he is, kind of the big cheese, but he's like, hey, you are technically Ken Wapol. Like, I'll relent. And then that's when it gets into this other big thing where now Waffle's not, getting the care. He's not utilizing the doctors that he just took 100 or whatever.
Correct.
To go heal other people. He is now me, I. The Blackbeards are gone. I'm going to retake my kingdom and once again be
nothing's
selfish.
changed. Dalton said, I'll concede you are the rightful king. I do have that. We do have that duty and honor. But things need to change. Wapple's like, nope.
Yep.
Same old.
Yep.
So he returns to the castle. Well, at the castle already is Nami, who they've gotten there to get treatment from Dr. Kureha. Nami's also I think, really first one to have any meaningful interaction with Chopper. Chopper's now learning about, who are these people at this island? Oh, you're pirates. I actually like pirates.
Tell me more. You're pirates. Tell me more.
So then Wapple returns. Big fight with, really, it wasn't even that big in terms of
scale.
Skill. Wapple was not really much of a fighter.
His boys were the fighter though. His two in command. Correct. That was the one I sent you a picture because I was like, dude, this guy's clothes are unreal. It was a chopper guy, the archer guy who had the cross patterns and stuff. Yeah. Checker patterns. It was teal and blue. Oh, yeah. I don't remember his name, but he was
Luffy and the gang defeat them, and then they find Chopper, have interaction with him, decide, we want you to become one of our crew. You're a learned doctor. We in the future we obviously need one, so we want you to come along. And Chopper's like, no, I don't want to. I want to stay here. I don't want to be a pirate. And then I'm trying to remember exactly how it happens, but he gets some sort of inspirational speech from Kureha, like you need to follow your dreams sort of thing. But ultimately it comes out in the form of, I'm going to beat you if you stay. Get out of here. So it's sort of like that old yeller, get out of here. Get out of here.
We don't need you no more.
After every big fight with Luffy and the other, big two there, they're always looking for a meal after they wake up, especially Luffy because he's always eating stuff. And their first interaction with Chopper is they see him and he's like, food. And then him and Sanji try to catch him so they can eat him. And then they always joke around later on, like, Chopper's a reserve, like, emergency food, just in case.
Yeah. But the love, you know what I mean?
Just the love there.
Yeah. The love for Chopper. But yeah, that's really Chopper's arc. And then at this point, this is where we're bleeding into Alabasta.
Yeah. And I will say, right at the end of Drum Island, as they're leaving, Chopper is now with them, and Kureha and Dalton are at the top of the mountain. And I can't remember exactly how it got figured out, but they've essentially loaded these cannons with this special...
Chopper
Did Chopper do it?
Before he left, yeah.
Yeah. He loaded the cannons with this special powder that Chopper made, and essentially it looked like giant cherry blossoms blooming. And so, this whole island, this winter island, with all these white clouds and blizzard, it all turned, this purplish pink.
Yeah.
And,
the big flakes were the petals. And
big cry moment for Chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, maybe it was Kureha who did it instead. Because I know Dr. Luke finished his work and he gave it to someone. And I think it was Kureha. And then she did it when Chopper was leaving.
She said, don't do it until the country is ready. Sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because he's like, I know I'm going to die. This is before he goes to Wapple.
Yeah.
He's like, I know I'm going to die.
And then they changed the name. It's the Sakura Kingdom now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
not the Drum Kingdom.
But the one thing I do want to mention of Chopper is, I know this is a dumb bit. When he hides behind stuff, he doesn't hide his body behind the object. He puts the opposite where, you know what I mean? Like normal, like it's kind of like a Scooby-Doo thing.
If you were peeking around a corner, you'd have your whole body behind and just kind of poke your head out.
Yeah.
Well, flip that whole thing around. Well, now he's standing completely in the doorway and he just has his arms up against the frame and he's looking right at you.
Yeah.
You're like, are you trying to hide?
Yeah, and he's just a one-trick pony because the first time he does it, it's like, oh, it's funny. Second time he does it, it's like, all right, it's kind of getting old. But after the 90th time, you're like, this. He does it randomly sometimes, when something happens, even in now.
Correct. He's brought the horse to life again after beating it so much.
Yeah.
He's a doctor after all.
It's so funny. I don't know why I love it. And also when someone gives him a compliment and he just gets all super bashful. He's like, oh, I hate you. How could you say that? And Oh man, there's something about him I really do enjoy. I really do enjoy him, but
Yeah, that's honestly some of the best episodes are the in between islands, and they'll usually last for 1, 2, maybe 3 stretch if it's supposed to be a long journey or whatever. But the joking and the camaraderie between like Luffy and Usopp and Chopper and Sanji, and then Zoro always having to play the straight man.
Funny.
yeah.
It is so. They're always trying to steal food from the kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Sanji's got to kick him around or whatever.
Nami, my dear, I've
Nami's
made lunch
like-
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like the mother though. Like when they're doing like dumb stuff, she comes up and just beats the crap out of them.
But it is funny because she has the captain's quarters. Like she sleeps
Yeah.
in there.
Correct.
Robin,
She's the only girl, yeah,
It's
so
just
she-
funny.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we were just talking about how the whole filler comedy, joking of all that stuff. But I will say this, Paul. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have grown to the arcs are great, the true episodes as you call them are great.
Which they are, true episodes.
But I've grown to absolutely love the filler episodes more than the one. The Usopp, Luffy, Tony Chopper interactions, Sanji, like just the interactions of the crew, the day to day. Maybe this is the Star Trek in me. Nothing brings me more joy than just seeing like the camaraderie and like just how these like these different personalities are indeed on a ship. That it's like tight quarters. You remember they show like where they're sleeping, like they're literally hanging in hammocks in front of each other.
It's like thinking about like how do these guys act, when the camera's not on them.
It is so funny.
Exactly.
And you see this, and it just gives you this warm sense of like, for all the days or weeks, however long it takes for them to actually get between these islands, and we're only seeing a couple episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
They are like this all the time. This is what they're doing. They're having a lot of fun and enjoying it.
I love
it. It is so funny, some of those.
I think that's why Usopp became my favorite character.
Correct.
Is because he has the best one-liners. Of all the moves across all the boards, Usopp's Rubber Band of Doom is my favorite one across the board. Honestly, like, I just want to have a rubber band on my desk and just, sticky note and say Usopp's Rubber Band of Doom. There's something about it. Whenever I hear it, it makes me laugh. He brings it out like 3 times, but of the 3 times, it killed me. I loved it, but... Yeah, so, I mean, let's go next on the crew.
Well, the last official member that is in, the time you've watched it would be Robin, right?
Nico Robin.
Should we talk about the honorary member, Vivi?
Vivi comes up because the next island that they go to is the island of Alabasta.
Mm-hmm.
She's the princess of.
Yes, and so they come across essentially this like underground group of
mercenary assassins,
mercenary crime syndicate known as Baroque Works, and one of the very first ones, if not the first ones, they take on and they're all numbered essentially. Number 1, the strongest. They come across were they up to like 14 or 15, or did it start at 9? I'm trying to remember what number.
Oh, the main people, because they're like the 99s.
They ran into number 7 and Miss Wednesday. I forget what her partner was, but they ran into Vivi first with her partner.
Yeah, and so it turns out that these two they've ran into.
Maybe
Miss Wednesday or whatever the code names there are. She turns out to be the princess of this Alabasta kingdom.
Oh, that was with Igrim.
And it's like her ma.
Yeah.
It's her like essentially caretaker that they've infiltrated this crime syndicate because they think they're connected to their kingdom and they're trying to do some ne'er-do-well stuff. So Luffy and them beat them. Like, don't kill us. We're actually so and so. So
we're trying to help. Yeah.
So they bring them along, and
it's funny because Luffy at first is like, I don't like. Why would I help you though? Like, I don't care. He's like, we can pay you, and then Nami comes in and he's like pushes Luffy. I was really like, how much? It's like 100 billion or no 100 million berries. And he's like, okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
And then Nami takes it from there.
I do love whenever Nami punches Luffy. It's just like he's like the strongest guy ever, and he just hits him on the head, and he's like, I don't know, I just love it. But yeah, so now we're kind of in this. What's going on? So like, why does this kingdom feel like this Baroque's Works is going against them? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah.
There seems to be unrest in the kingdom, both from just the people standpoint and the political side. Like, what's happening. Then you get a little bit more information on like, wait, there are these. Oh my gosh, why do I keep forgetting the stupid name? Crocodile. What's he called? Warlord. Thank you. I shouldn't forget that name. It's the easiest one. But then there's like this warlord aspect. Like, whoa, there's all this.
Because he's Mr. Zero. He is the leader of Baroque Works. Right?
Yeah. You don't figure that out until later on, but
and he's trying to basically destabilize the country to become its new king, whatever.
Yeah.
But with Vivi along, we tee up, the next official member, which is Robin.
Yep.
And she is technically the partner to Crocodile, Miss All Sunday.
Yeah.
And they first meet her really cool. I mean, she's like on this sick turtle with like a chair on its back.
That's pretty rad.
And she shows up, and then Vivi's like, "Oh my god, it's Miss All Sunday," and everyone gears up to attack her, and she's like, "Chill," like I forget. Oh, she warns them not to continue on because there's like a trap ahead of them.
Yeah,
she's like, go to a completely different island. Like here's a log pose, a set log pose. So basically, as I said in the last episode, and I'll say it now, to navigate between islands, they basically set points between islands, and she basically set them on a different path to avoid the trap. And Luffy crushes it. He's like, "I'm the captain. No one no one decides my own path but me. Like, we're going on." So she's like, "Okay," and then she leaves. But her name is Nico Robin. Great chick. We learn her backstory as we move on. Great chick.
By the way, I will say there's a not a darker side, but there is a side of our group me or literally our group chat. There is a side where we just talk about the ladies, and it is funny because when Vivi came on the screen, her teal hair, I was like, "This is it." And
then, big on teal.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny. And then of course when I said Vivi's the one. Then you guys, I think, mentioned that Nico Robin was up there too, and I was like, "Who the heck is this?"
It's like who's like wifey material type of thing, and Joe and Mary.
Oh,
Robin.
I think I texted out, and I was like, "All Sunday." I think you guys both made comments on that. I thought it was funny, but yeah, I guess what I was trying to say is like, so really quick though, Alabasta is like one of the what feels to be one of the like longest arcs, at least from that time.
It feels like it, especially as you're going through it, because it's not to say the pacing is there's not stuff going on, but there's so many steps that.
But they're introducing
they
all this,
right? Yeah. And it's a lot of that intro stuff that needs to happen. But like, once you finally do get through it, as you did, like, even to me, it felt like a slog. But I was happy at the journey.
The resolution was great.
It was,
but to put together. That's what I just kind of mentioned. Like, wait, so you're getting like this political unrest, you're getting the people unrest because now there's a rebellion. So I don't want to like completely bypass Alabasta, but I will say like that. Basically, that's what's happening. For 200 episodes, they're explaining the warlord, the unrest, why the people are upset. There's just no water. Why is there no water? And then there's like all this different things. So like, there's this buildup that's kind of naturally happening in the background, and the crew is stumbling their way through this because they're like meeting these people that are like, "Well, you did this," and it's like, "Wait, what's going on?" So you're getting the backstory of all that. But that's when we're finding Nico Robin, and that's building up. Sorry, but I just wanted to mention that really quick, Paul, just for our listeners. If someone's a One Piece aficionado and they're listening to this and they're like, "Dude, you're going past Alabasta." Yeah. One, I think we can kind of.
Well, there's just so much to talk about in Alabasta too. Yeah. But so the first time we see Robin, again, she warned him not to go on. The second time we see her that I can remember is, as you said, they're describing all this political unrest and all this kind of stuff. They meet Crocodile, the warlord, and Luffy's like, "Let's go, pal!" Right? Try to take him down, and he learns very quickly that. And we learn very quickly that Crocodile is a Logia user. So Luffy just got schwacked.
Paramecia?
No, Logia.
No, Logia. So that's when your entire body essentially embodies an element. In Crocodile's case, it's sand.
Yeah.
And he's fighting in a desert kingdom. It's like,
why am I
bro, I'm in my element.
Wait, but so Paramecia's item? Object Paramecia is everything else.
Paramecia is anything that's not Logia or Zoan.
That's a good way to remember. Zoan, you're what
animal,
mythic creature, what am I embodying? Can hybrid turn myself into?
Gotcha.
Logia is
material.
Is what material element? What do I now have the power over?
Gotcha.
And Paramecia, good way to think about it. It's everything else.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot the distinction, but desert sand user.
Luffy gets schwacked. Crocodile uses one of his abilities and takes all the water away from out of Luffy's body, and basically buries him in sand. What's it called?
A dune.
Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, Sarlacc pit. It's quicksand. There it is. He gets sucked into quicksand, and he leaves. Nico Robin, Miss All Sunday, saves him, pulls him out, gives him some water, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, get out of here" or something, and she just leaves.
I told you he's
Right?
tough. You know what I mean?
So,
like,
from
this is
there-
their only option. He's like, "What are you talking about?"
Exactly. And from there, we learn that she's actually a good person, and then we learn her backstory. So, Nico Robin.
Well, yeah, really quick, I will say,
Yep.
just to save myself from some spoilers.
Yep.
Let me get a little bit of this.
explain her
let
backstory.
Let me get a little of this because
Okay.
her backstory right now is like nothing. You just know.
Really?
No, truly, yeah. That's why I want to be safe. I want to be real careful
I think
here.
he's correct because he's currently in Water 7, and I think this is where a lot of that gets.
Yeah, that's why I'm like I want to be real careful because right now, at least when Alabasta onto Water 7, it's just the fact that she got her bounty when she was 5 years old.
Correct.
And they're like, why did she get this bounty? They finally talk about it a little bit, but she has the petal fruit, or the flower fruit, whatever they call that. Whole point is she can grow a lot of arms and blah, blah, all this other stuff. But she is a very powerful user. But the backstory, and she talks about it a little bit, was she's 5 years old, something's going on, she's alone for a lot of her life, she's really into researching
She's
things.
being hunted.
And she's being hunted, and the only reason why we know so far is the fact that the second you start to read poneglyphs, your butt's grass. Like, the Marines, you're way too dangerous to be left alive. Like,
Correct.
whole 9 yards.
Forbidden knowledge.
Yes, forbidden knowledge. That's all I know so far.
Yeah.
That's why I want to be
Okay, we'll
very...
leave
I
it
think you
at
know
that,
the title that they gave
then.
her is like Nico Robin, the Devil Child,
Devil
or
Child.
Demon Child.
Yeah.
So
So I just want to be careful. That's all I
Yeah.
know. Just let's leave it as that.
So that just a little tidbit and a little tease. Poneglyphs are extremely important throughout the show, right?
Yes.
Like,
And this is the introduction,
Joe's-
by the way. First introduction was
Yeah.
Alabasta. We haven't missed anything. Alabasta's the first one.
and like Joe said, they contain forbidden knowledge. Technically, again, not really a spoiler, but it's history of what they call like the Void Century. Like 800 years ago, there was this century where history was just poof gone. No one knows what happened, and the poneglyphs are the key to it.
Didn't know if I knew that much, but that's okay.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
bit of
a
spoiler.
small thing, but.
The
And
whole point is that they do call them great weapons. They're like, hey, by the way, this poneglyph is
Some of
pointing
them-
to a great weapon.
some of them have those informations, yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and Robin, she can read this somehow, or one way or another, when no one else can.
Right.
No one
It's
else
writ-
can
it's
read
written
these
in
these
essentially
writings.
an ancient text from that known as Void Century. It was like a language like during that time, and because essentially history got wiped, they could have been using it for thousands of years, whatever. The language no longer exists. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the effect of it. So people have gone to whatever other languages were used were now the languages. People didn't even have knowledge of what happened previously. So 700 years later, whatever it is, fast forward to this point, there's very few people that know how to read this or have studied it. She's one of them, so that's why hunted or whatever, because she has that forbidden knowledge.
and
Yeah.
clearly forbidden by the military. So she has to join various seedy, shady organizations
yeah.
to survive. And she joined Crocodile, part to survive, and part because she heard there was a poneglyph hidden in Alabasta, and she wanted to find it.
Yeah.
That's her whole shtick. And as we saw in the end of the arc, she never planned to tell Crocodile was on it, because Crocodile knew she could read these, and he's like, "You
I'm
join
keeping
me,
you around."
yeah. So you tell me what's on it."
Yeah.
And she obviously was never going to tell him.
Yep.
And then she joins Luffy's crew right after, because Luffy then saves her life.
Yeah, and it's the dedication of Luffy and everything, and she's now realizing, like, oh, I don't have to be a total loner in this world.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah, because
you're
she
an
was
actual
so
friend.
recently an enemy. There's still a lot of mistrust, or people are still skeptical. So as it, then transitions into the Water 7 arc, our newest member, Nico Rob, man, she's strong, but like, there's stuff we don't know about her, sort
She's
of thing.
so questionable.
Yeah, we don't know, and then it transitions to they get to Water 7. Hey, the Going Merry, is taking a pretty bad beating for all these things, going up and down Reverse Mountain,
Yep.
taking the jetway or whatever it was up into Sky Island, doing the 1,000-meter fall
into the Marine base.
Into the Marine base.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, Paul.
Yeah.
So it's like
Which,
this.
by the way, for you, you're just like, since you skipped that, you're just like, oh, they're on the water now?
No, I watched every single filler. I just would skip it if I watched it again.
Oh, okay.
So
I was about to say, because I was like, I don't know.
I'm not that crazy.
yeah. So the ship is in dire need of repairs, and this water island they've come to, it's essentially a giant city of canals and waterways built out in the ocean, is known for its shipwrights. People come there, they get their ships fixed, and then they get sent out on their way. So that's the reason why they've gone there after the Alabasta arc. And while they're there, Nico Robin's story progression is
Amazing.
Wild.
Correct, is wild. So they've gone to the island. They've contacted the gallery company that Galila company that is in charge. They've scheduled them to get the ship looked at. And while they're there, there's these interesting people that are in masks. We don't know who they are.
Yep.
And they've kind of been tailing the Straw Hats, and it turns out they're targeting Nico Robin, and they've come up to her. They've said, "Hey, come with us, or we're gonna kill the Straw Hats."
Yeah.
And so doesn't say a word. She gets up. She goes with them. She's not around the rest of them. Obviously, they would have jumped in to fight, protect, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of as much as Tony knows to this point on. And he correct us if he's seen any more.
So I did. We had the big turn. By the way, I've watched a lot of media recently. This is one of the biggest turns, I think. Even though it was like a quick arc, when you say quick episode turnaround, but it was crazy. But I did see the turn of they explained CP9.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
So that's like another
government intelligence agency.
It's
government.
It's huge too, because I loved how Robin handled her. Well, annoying in a way, but loved how she handled herself, because this entire time, CP9's been after her. Everyone's been after her for 30 years.
Well, she's a part of CP9. Let's watch what we say here. All right. She, in all intents and purposes, from what my understanding, they came in and was just like, hey, by the way, they caught her on the street, and they were like, he just said CP9. And she just it almost like she was like a sleeper agent. She stood up and she just followed him. That's all you see. And everyone's like, dude, where's Robin? What's going on? And then Iceberg gets hit. He's the mayor of the town, basically. And they're like, what's going on with Iceberg? Who's hurting him? What's going on? And then all of a sudden they're like, he has a report that's hey, it was a masked person and Nico Robin, because he sees her wanted poster. It's I just know this is Nico Robin. And then now the Straw Hats are taking all the blame for it, of what's going on. So now everyone hates the Straw Hats. There's a lot of dissidence there. And the last thing you saw was the fact that, the last thing I saw was the fact that now they're in, Iceberg lives after his attack. They are there's probably going to be a second assassination attempt. We need to, get everybody, protect him, everything like that.
Sure.
And they're hey, we're going to get the top people in Galila, which are, the top shipwrights. There's, 4 of them. Oh, no, there's 3 of them, and then there's, his secretary. Those are, his closest people that they could possibly do. They're supposed to be, the last area protection. Well, turns out, no, they're actually CP9 people, because they know
one is in the 3 top shipwrights, and then so is the secretary. But whatever.
Yeah, no. 2 of them are in the top shipwright, because it's
Really?
the
Correct.
square nose. It's a square nose, and I'm
Square
getting
Usopp.
Yeah,
square
I
nose
know. That's what I'm
Usopp,
thinking.
and then
Yeah.
it's also
Oh,
the pitchman.
you're right.
Him
right.
and Rob
I'm
Lucci.
thinking of the big guy with the
He's the
cigar.
bartender.
The big guy with the cigar. He shows up later, but I equate him to a big shipwright, because after those 2 leave, he kind of gets elevated to a big. You'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Watch it, Paul. Let's watch it. We're getting in dangerous. This is I was nervous. We're getting dangerous
I know,
territory.
Tony is
Whoa,
literally
let's-
on the cusp of in the next 2 episodes,
Joe and I-
crazy things happen. Next 5 episodes, crazy. He's so close to so much stuff that is about to just unfold.
100%. As Tony was talking, Joe and I gave each other the hardest side eye.
That's why I'm like, hey, we'll get there. But the whole point is the fact that so Robin is basically associated with these people. The whole thing is dude, every single organization Robin has ever been in, it's she's the only one left to survive. So they're kind of telling Straw Hats drop her. Luffy's no way, you guys are manipulating her. And even she's Luffy, you gotta stop this. I'm leaving your cruise. This is goodbye forever. Then she jumps out the window. And that was one of the last episodes I saw, was her jumping out the window. But the whole shtick is that his advisor, whatever you want to call her, secretary, she's the top dog in CP9. Well, not the top dog, but one of the top dogs. And you also understand that CP9, some of them are devil fruit users, but they also like train their bodies in these crazy ways where they can have iron skin and they're super fast.
Correct. You
they
find
can
you
do
find out
this.
that the I'm trying to remember the exact name for the training regiment that they go through, but there's essentially like 4 or 5 essentially powers that they gain by going through this.
Passing
And-
like physical limits of all people.
Correct. Yeah. CP9, who we know is like government's intelligence agency that kind of black agent workers. They kind of do stuff in the background.
Yeah.
We know this. There, I think there may be some Marines that like could potentially do it too.
It's a common Marine thing for like at least vice admirals and up.
Correct.
It's called it's similar to hockey, but it's not. But it's called the Rokushiki, the 6 powers.
6, okay.
They
I
have
said
6
6 and I
techniques
thought it was,
that they learn.
But the whole trick I will say really quick is that technically, I can't remember CP9, it's center pole or something like that.
Cipher pole.
Cipher pole. So the
pole
whole
9.
point is that the Marines structuring is they only recognize cipher pole 1 through 8. Mm-hmm. So once again, one of my favorite Star Trek tropes and a lot of other things I really like is like, especially when you have like this morally high ground government or like agency, there has to be something working in the background doing the dirty work. And I love when they expose that because like Star Trek has its own version of it. I love it. It's fantastic. But the whole point is like the fact that they have center pole 9, which is like not recognized, but Marine connection, but not really.
They have license to kill.
They got license
free.
to do what they ever do. You know what I mean? Don't question it. And they're just these agents that are trying to get. The whole shtick is the fact that one of the best shipwrights that they've ever had that built up this Water 7 town was Tom. And apparently he has this massive weapon that they won, and that's where all this is coming out of, is they're trying to get this weapon out. CP9 is trying to get this weapon out of Tom, who Tom passed away, and they thought his plans were gone forever. But turns out he passed it down to his shipwrights, and so they're like, Iceberg was one of his apprentices, so they're like, oh, it's got to be Iceberg, so they go to kill him and try to figure out if he's going to give the plans up. Turns out Iceberg never had the plans. They went to his second shipwright, which happens to be someone who died that we don't know. Yeah. But we can talk more about that, I think, next, like, anime
100%.
corner. And I think the other thing, too, is we want to talk more about, like, Alabasta and maybe some other, like, Devil Fruit powers that we've seen so far. But at this point, that's, like, the whole crew and everything. Do you guys have any other last-minute things without spoiling where
Correct.
Robin's
Yeah.
at?
Just
All right,
to clarify the powers that he's talking about, or this weapon that Tom had. So what we've seen so far is, and I think they do introduce it relatively early on, or at least, that there are these 3 ancient powers,
Ancient weapons.
And we really don't know anything about them. It turns out that Poneglyph that was hidden in Alabasta did have information on one of them,
Pluton.
known as Pluton,
Or Pluto. I'll figure that out.
Yeah, however you pronounce it. And what this Pluton power is this ship that is so powerful. You never even see it. It's just this ship that's described as so powerful it could sink islands.
Yeah.
And what Tony is right now getting into with this backstory of Tom, the shipwright, a legendary shipwright.
He built the ship for Whitebeard. Or sorry, Golden Roger, who went around.
So he just built Gold Roger's ship.
That's what I'm saying. He built it. That's why he's like.
Yeah.
That's why all this distance is happening, because they're like, hey, by proxy, you built too good of a ship, and he was able to do this. So now you're accessory to all of his crimes, and that's
correct. That's why they go after him. But they also know that he has the blueprints, or they suspect that he has the blueprints for Pluton, this ship. Not that it's been built for anyone or by anything. It could exist out there in the world. They don't know.
Yeah.
Hidden somewhere.
That's what Robin says, because she knows the location of Pluton.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's what the Alabasta, it could be pointing, hey, the ship's already out there. You just got to go find it, sort of thing. And here's the location, whatever might be written in the ancient text. Tom has the blueprints to build another. And so obviously the government really wants
the
that.
blueprints so they can.
That's why they're going after Iceberg, as Tony said, because they think he must have handed it off to his, protege. And turns out that Frankie.
Frankie's
Frankie's,
but I can't remember what his name was. some of the sea, but like his is before he's Frankie.
Correct. Yeah.
Because they're like, this guy died, and they're like,
I forget his
okay,
name, too.
yeah, but it was I just heard it 3 times. So we've taled about so many names right now.
I know.
Swimming. But yeah, it's crazy, and that's where like kind of the buildup is. So I mean, wow. I mean, we did it in an hour and a half, boys, but this is
great.
crazy. I'm pretty sure. Unlike the show, our pacing was pretty solid. I'm joking around. It's a good show, but I will say our pacing was pretty solid. But I promise you, we probably could have gone back on every single one of those and done.
There's so much more detail we didn't
So
even
much
say.
more time. So this is not the last. It definitely will not be the last. I think the other thing too is like we can keep going relatively chronologically, but I do want to talk about like the first like 10, 15 minutes is just the fun stuff. Of, we talk about how this is going, but I do want to talk more about Devil Fruit powers and like what we've seen so far. But we are kind of getting close to time. But
Well, next one we can talk about that, and plus by then, cross your fingers, everyone. He'll see Ennis Lobbies.
oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
honestly, it's like we could do another recording
Just for that.
in a month when Tony watches the next 40 episodes, whatever it is, to get through that piece because they're one after the other. They're really tied essentially. Once he gets through that, there is so much stuff that pops off that like opens up the world and like what is going on. Like all of a sudden, all this stuff is on such a bigger scale than anything you've seen, and like heads are turning and. It is so insane. Like, there's going to be so much to talk about just in, like, the next 40 episodes. That's why we're so pumped for T to watch.
Oda's so funny that way because this is when he first studs it, but he has a penchant to say, like you're watching the show, you have so many questions, and he just drops bombs left and right in such a short span of time that answers us so many things and then gives you so many other questions.
Well, the world, dude, is during Skypiea. There's literally an episode where they're like, oh, by the way, here's like this Don guy with all these other people, and then here's this mime guy who is part of like either Shanks or Blackbeard's crew. I can't remember.
Blackbeard's.
But they like drop everything in like this one episode, and they never talk about it again. It's like, what? Yep. I finally figured out what these warlords are. Now I'm back to, you know what I mean? Like asking way more questions. So I've kind of experienced it already, but it seems like I'm getting to the precipice, boys.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It all comes around full circle. I have to imagine nearly every question you have up to this point, at some point in the future, could be close, could be a step further away. Almost all of it gets answered, but like Paul said, it opens up the door to like, oh my God, if that means that, then what in the heck did we see with this? Or
I was gonna leave it with questions, but
it fuels itself and it just keeps going.
Because I was about to say I was gonna end the episodes with questions just to see how right I am or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Sure, but here's the problem though: it might take 20 minutes because
give like your
so
top
many
two questions, and that's it.
Well, the problem is like so many of them are surrounding Nico Robin right now.
Sure.
Like fundamentally, they are surrounding by Nico Robin.
That makes sense.
I think. Well. So one of my bigger questions was who the heck was fixing the Mary, but that actually just got answered.
Yep,
it's the spirit of the ship, man. Yep. First off, I wish the spirit of my house would fix itself. How you doing? I love you, house. Please, you know what I mean? Like, I'll leave my pirate crew so you're truly mine. You know what I mean? Like, but no. So actually, if I had to like really, really sit down to it, I have a couple like big questions. Like number one would just be. This CP9 thing, what's going on? Because number one, the freeze guy, the freeze fruit,
Iceberg?
No, not Iceberg, but the actual Marine. He's like one of the top Marines, and he's
Aokiji.
Yeah,
something like that.
Aokiji.
Aokiji and Aokiji's his Marine name. Yeah,
he sits on the bike and freezes
hilarious.
The path, and he just rides his bike.
Hilarious. Yeah.
So first off, he's the one who's that episode that left me so much questions. He's the one who's like, dude, every organization she's ever went to.
Correct, because he was there to capture Nico Robin.
Exactly, and he was there. Yeah, and so that's where my main question is going. Like, I know CP9 is not sanctioned, but he is high enough where, like, even though it's not sanctioned by the Marines, at some point when you get high enough on the scale, like, kind of generally what's going on. So it's like. Wait, does he know about CP9? And is it like as dangerous as like does he can he even conceive of this as like this is an organization she's a part of?
Yeah.
And then it's just like wait, or does he know this already? And when he says, by the way, she's going to destroy every organization, he's kind of tipping his hat, going, "But I don't want any answers." But he's kind of tipping his hat, going, "Wow, she's about to also like even in his own organization in this unsanctioned aspect of it, she's about to wreck that there too. So it's like this weird, like, oh my gosh, like there's so much interplay here because you can look at its face value going like, wait, so she's part of CP9 that Saul's robbing this whole time. So technically she could have been part of the Marines this whole time, and she did learn this, but once she learned it, like, you know, so then maybe she wanted to go against it, you know, whatever. It's
Again,
just so much more.
You don't have all the information. Give it 10 episodes, and I think you might figure it out.
Oh, okay. Because that was like one of my
10,
big
15,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my big ones. I think the other, like, truly big one was just like, what's going on with Kobe, man? I think about him all the time.
Gee.
You know what I mean? He's mastered the broom cleaning. He's mastered, setting up the kitchen. You know, he's done what he's done for Garp, and I'm really curious to see where that goes. But I think the other big thing too is this, like, my other question that really, once again, you can tell how I think of my questions. I just love my characters, and focus on them. But Mihawk, brother, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like he's a sanctioned warlord, but he's not seeming to get any gold. But he's kind of getting paid off. But he's just like trolling around, being like, "I'm just a badass swordman." You know what I mean? Like, is there anything more with this guy? Like, I can't tell.
He kind of thins the herd in terms of he doesn't like sit at the Grand Line entry and just cut down every pirate he sees. It could have just been total happenstance that Don Krieg came by.
It was
him in the Grand Line.
Yeah,
and Mihawk's like, I guess I'll fight you. One slash, is going to cut the ship in half, sort of thing. Because that's when you first see Don Krieg. They're fleeing. They're running for their lives. They've exited the Grand Line. They're back into the East Blue. They make it to the Bratier, and their ship is like, it's like it looks like it's been through this terrible battle. And you're like, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, just like on a little pedal boat, here comes Mihawk's just like, oh, there you guys are, finally. One slice, cuts the ship in half. It's
not that much of a spoiler, but Mihawk, he just wants to be left alone.
Yeah,
and that's why he's a warlord, because he's left alone. Like, he doesn't give a crap about having the government back or anything, but just having the government saying, "Okay, I won't touch you if you just take out some measly pirates every now and then." He's like, "Okay, I'll take that deal."
Yeah, and then so. On the warlord thing, this will be my last question, just so we can wrap up. But the other side of the house is during that Sky Pier, I think it was during that episode arc, but when you do see all the warlords with the 9, that's the Lord of the Rings. It's just the really old people in the world government.
Yeah, they're not. They're just.
Can't
none of
remember
them
what
were
their name
elders
is.
in there.
Yeah.
They were just,
but it's just
vice
but
captains.
here's the thing: it's like
vice admirals.
You start asking yourself, like, wait, so is this the brains of the operation? Like, who's pulling the strings here? Like, they're clearly making decisions, like, what's going on. This kind of brings back the whole Naruto thing where, like, technically the Hidden Leaf Village is in the fire, the Nation of Fire, whatever they call that.
Sure.
And they have, like, their own kind of, like, president almost. So you have the Hokage, but then you have, like, the nation's leader, kind of.
Right, yeah.
And they're, like, all in a corner during this big ninja fight, the 4th Ninja War or whatever. And they're all sitting there just like, wait, so this is the head that turns, or this is the neck that turns the head? Or is this the head, like, how does the powers that be work? And I think that's like my next question of just like, what happens here? You have an unsanctioned thing with CP9, but then you have these warlords that are kind of this, but then you have corrupt Marines that are going like this, and you have this bounty system, but one of these corrupt Marines can say, hey, by the way, like, put a crazy big bounty on this guy, and like, that's it. Or, it's just kind of like, it's clearly they want to be control of all the pirate powers, even their own marine powers, and all the just control of power. That's what the marine and the world government seems to want, which is very common. But I'm just saying, like, how does that all work? It seems so disjoint right now to me.
Yeah. That
it's not clear that there's just one overall president, like, stroking his mustache, going, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not seeming like it.
Yeah.
That's my big question, I guess. Who's the puppet master and who's that? Yeah. So
it's whether that one you might have already got tidbits. I don't want to jump into it because it obviously just opens up a can of worms. But you will get answers, especially to that question. Just in terms of the hierarchy and structure, like who does the top Marines, the vice admirals or the fleet admiral, like who do they get orders from? Then you see this, the Elder Five, and you get introduced.
Elder Five, that's what it's called.
Yeah, and then you get introduced to like. like with VV, I think she probably in Alabasta talked about like the reverie, like the countries that come together and just make decisions or new trade relationships, whatever.
Yeah.
And so understanding how the information there kind of flows to the five elders who then disperse the orders out to the Navy.
It really does seem kind of loose though, for like, right, again, where you're kind of dealing with, or you were dealing with a bunch of small things, right? CP9 is like a big step in like an overarching important stuff for the government itself. So in my opinion, what I've seen, there's a bunch of these Navy captains, vice admirals, whatever. They basically just do whatever, as long as they're like taking out pirates. They're free to do whatever, but only for later on. You'll see specific like big ticket items like you got to do this way, and you can't mess up.
Yeah, okay. That's what I kind of had a feeling that was kind of getting toward, and it does feel very natural that that's going in that direction. And once again, it's bringing back to Joe's original point, not to bring it all back, but like there's no narrator being like, here's the exposition of how the government works. Like, you're just seeing actions happening,
correct,
and that's all it's going. And you should have to go off it. And that's why I think that's such a big question for me, because it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, all right, you know what I mean? It's like I'm just giving puzzle pieces. No one has showed me the box. You know what I mean? It's like that's all I'm giving right now.
The closer you get to the final island, the closer everything progresses.
Yeah, which I mean I can only imagine, but yeah, that's like 800 more episodes. No,
and we ain't there yet. We ain't there yet either.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're also not there yet, which is crazy to think about. But no, boys, I'm so appreciative, which is crazy because eventually the anime corner will catch up. Ideally, you know what I mean, before the last one.
We're about to hit our stride here.
Yeah, that's gonna be so nice. But
don't worry, I'll make this the second most watched episode.
Yeah, good.
I got you.
Hey, bump those numbers, right? You know what I mean? We got to make them through the roof. But no, I totally appreciate it, guys. What a fantastic episode. We'll clearly have you back. This is always great to talk with you guys, especially One Piece and everything like that. And I love the fact that we can just pull from this fountain of knowledge and. Also, just the interactions with the group me and everything like that. I keep saying group me, but the group text, jeez. But yeah, no, I totally appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully listeners, like as you listen through this, like if you guys have your own questions or want to answer, what's better, the manga version or, the actual anime version.
Sub versus dub, another great one.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a great one.
That's the last step. The sub is, the dub is great in its own right, but man, the sub characters really stick with you.
That'd be my two polls, I think. That's sub versus dub and then that one. And if anyone wants to add anything else, of course, you can always reach out, and you can do that with X or Instagram at the Live Laugh Lore Pod, or you can also email us at the Live Laugh Lore Pod at gmail.com. That's livelaughLorePod at gmail.com. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.